Hello, Team Allied Oil. Today we will be going over the flushing procedures and explain why we do the things we do today. We take great pride in not commingling oils when we are pumping into customers' tanks or repackaging products in our warehouse. Many years ago, we recognized that we had a tremendous amount of flush oil while maintaining product integrity, and we implemented an air pigging process. We worked closely with a vendor of ours to complete a flush study to ensure that the air pigging was an effective way to reduce flush cost and still deliver pure quality product. We will review the flush chart as well as the flush volume calculator and walk you through the steps of flushing when pumping lubricants at our customers' locations. Keep in mind that flushing is important anytime you are dealing with multiple lubricants in a single line. The theoretical flush volume calculator is used to determine the amount of flush you need to clear your line based on the size and length of your hose. This calculator is completely customizable to match the equipment you are working with. Every truck should have a copy of this on there, so if you're not in a familiar truck, you know what the flushing measurements are. This chart will provide you with the reduced common volume, and with the help of the flush chart, will ensure that you are flushing correctly without wasting product. The flush chart is a breakdown of the flush amounts by product groups. Some product groups may require more flushing due to the nature of the next product group you will pump. If a lubricant is heavier, it may take longer to clear the line. The chart is very easy to use. To use the chart, just find the product group that is currently in your line, then find the next product group you will pump and follow the chart. For example, if you are going from an HDMO product to a PCMO product, you would need to flush 2 times the reduced common volume. But if you were going from a PCMO to an ATF, you would need to flush 4 times the amount. We always recommend using a separate pump for ATF. All units should have a bulk unloading sequence chart posted as well. This chart is very handy to reference to understand the unloading sequence. For example, if you have a delivery that has both PCMO and HDMO products. Air pigging is a process that uses the onboard air of the truck to blow the lubricants back through the line into the tote that you were originally pumping out of. This helps reduce the amount of flush needed to clear the line by putting new oil back into the tote it originally came from. Now let's look at the steps to take while using the air pigging system.
Review the flushing process when you're done with the delivery at a customer's location. The first thing you want to do would be to close the valve on your stinger and open up the bleeder valve. If your truck's not equipped with the bleeder valve, then what you want to do is keep the valve open and pull the stinger partially out of the tote where it is no longer in the oil. So when the pump is engaged, it will push air through the line, pushing the remainder of the oil out of the line back into the tote. We will now go to the front of the truck at the pumping system and show you what you need to do there. After you have the tote in the back ready to go and ready to flush your line, you want to come up front to the pumping system. The first thing you want to do would be engage your pump. That will allow the oil to pump back into the tote that is in the line. Once the meter stops running, then you want to print a print ticket. That'll tell you what your ending gallons are. After that, you want to open your air eliminator valve. This will push air through the line and push the remaining oil that's in the line back into the tote. Once that is done, you are ready for the next oil. Now, if you have another product, but from the same grouping, you are good to hook up to the next tote and start pumping the next oil. But if you are using a different product group, there is additional flush based on the reduced common volume. To do this, you want to use your delivery product group flushing chart. It will tell you whether if you're going from a PCMO to an HDMO or an HDMO to even an ATF, how many times you need to flush according to the reduced common volume. That is the proper way to flush on a pumping system.
There are a few tips when it comes to flushing that are important to remember. Always flush into containers that are properly marked as such. Keep as much product group flushed together as possible. Also, when it comes to 020, regardless of brand, you must always flush unless you are going from a PCMO to a PCMO and are pumping over 100 gallons of the next product. However, when moving from an Allied product to a competitor's product, remember the 10% rule. For example, if you are going from an Allied 520 to a competitor's 520 and are pumping 100 gallons of the competitor's 520, there is no need for additional flush because you are pumping more than 10% of the amount of Allied that would be in the line. Another example would be if the customer has 400-gallon tank with 35 gallons of competitor's product and we are pumping 350 gallons into the tank of the same family and viscosity, just an Allied brand, we would not need to flush. If the reduced common volume is 2 gallons after pigging, there is no need to do any additional flushing. If you are using the same pump and going from a PCMO to an HDMO, regardless of brand, you are required to flush 2 times the reduced common volume. We recognize that at this time, not all delivery units are set up exactly the same, so we strongly encourage you to ask questions to your supervisor and regional vice president. You might ask, what is the same for all Allied oil units? All Allied delivery units are required to have the Allied Oil DPQA procedure number 18, tote truck unloading procedure, the flush volume calculator chart, the bulk receiving and delivery product flushing table, and the bulk unloading sequence chart posted. If you are missing a chart, please notify your supervisor. We must always document flush on the appropriate forms to keep our inventory accurate. Your supervisor will go into more detail while providing hands-on training. Proper flushing is essential to our business. This not only ensures we are giving our customer the quality product they ordered, but will also save our company money ensuring we are not flushing too much and disposing of good lubricants. If you have any questions about the flushing procedures or flushing of a specific product group, feel free to talk with your supervisor. Thank you for your time.